welcome to another episode of the Live, Laugh and Eat Show. Now, our special guest today is Amy K. Wilson. Amy is a board-certified geriatric pharmacist, a certified fitness professional, and a certified nutrition coach using the Faster Way to Fat Loss platform, who is disrupting the diet industry and helping her clients take their health back. Now, Amy's mission is to empower and equip her clients to take charge of their health and find balance in their lives. With over 30 years of experience, Amy specializes in developing individualized health plans that navigate through her clients' individual barriers, allowing them to be successful in their efforts. Now, Amy is passionate about helping people prevent and reverse diseases with nutrition and fitness. And through her personal and professional experience, she has seen firsthand how diet and exercise can change a person's life, and how the right nutritional program can be the key to improving their health and fitness. She has seen her clients reverse their pre-diabetes, diabetes, high cholesterol, and more. She's driven to help her clients feel in control of their body and mind while no longer feeling enslaved by their scale. Welcome, Amy. We are so happy to have you on our show today. Now, before we start, can you share with our listeners how we all have a story? How did you get started in your career?
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah, I do have a story. I think we all have stories. I have tons of stories, but I started. It's kind of like a threefold. So I am a board-certified geriatric pharmacist. I am a fitness professional and a nutrition coach. So how that all started was back in high school. I played sports. I danced. When I went to college, I swore I was not going to gain the freshman 15. Was not going to do it. So I was going to pharmacy school. I went to aerobics several times a week and was kind of picked out and said, "Hey, would you like to teach?" And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I have a job in the library. I absolutely hate it. It was boring. And I'm like, "Oh, get paid to work out. This is amazing." You know, what 20, well, at that time it was 17, 18. What, that's the perfect job. Became a fitness instructor, taught all through college, continued to teach after school as becoming a pharmacist and increasing my education. When I was 29, I blew my back out and had back surgery. You would think that would have taught me a lesson because I was actually diagnosed as an exercise addict. And I thought, so what? It's not smoking, it's not drugs. How bad can that be? My 29-year-old self was like, okay, chalk it up. I'll just be more careful. But I was back to the whole trying to out diet, trying to out exercise a bad diet. Didn't work. We didn't know things back then. This was the 80s. This was the low fat craze. And then we had high protein and Atkins and all these things that we didn't know about. So fast forward, I've gotten more nutrition information under my belt, have coached many things, many years, different programs, and they all kind of worked, but a lot of them were based upon 6-week challenges. So they had a start date, a stop date, but what would happen is people would do amazing. And I'm sure you know this because anybody who's listening is going, yeah, I did those challenges. It was great for 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks was like, give me a cheeseburger, give me a cookie. And you put the weight back on. And I'm like, this just doesn't work. It wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for my clients. So I kind of took a step back away from that kind of coaching. And during this time, menopause hit me hard. I was teaching all these classes. I was working out all the time and getting bigger. My hips were getting bigger. I called it Buddha. I had this pooch that was I'm like, oh my gosh. And everybody knows that feeling that you just feel like you are just not successful and a failure. And here I am, a group fitness instructor in front of people. I'm supposed to look a certain way. So I had that pressure. I didn't feel good. I thought, oh, it must be menopause. My head hurt all the time. I had joint pain. I had brain fog. okay, menopause must be, but I'm like, there has to be something better. I wasn't going to settle. And I think a lot of us feel that way, that we just don't feel like we should settle. This is not what we're meant to be at all. And I kind of threw a Hail Mary pass at a program that I saw several friends do who were looking amazing during perimenopause and menopause, and they were getting strong. They looked great, they felt great, and it was called the Fast Way to Fat Loss. It got me back into coaching. It got me back in because not only did it work for me, I knew it could help others. And while I was going through this self-discovery of me and what was going on with my issues with perimenopause, then becoming menopausal, was a trend in my nursing homes that I was seeing. Younger patients, people coming with prediabetes and diabetes. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have a calling. I have a mission that not only do I need to help perimenopausal, menopausal women, midlife men to stop dieting and stop chasing skinny and get healthy, it's imperative that we start doing this so that we are not residents in my nursing home, that we need to reverse disease and use nutrition and use fitness in order to turn back the clock, reverse aging, reverse disease, prevent disease, and stop chasing skinny. Stop trying to be this certain size that I know we all have that size, we all have that number, and we all have these beliefs that we have to start saying, you know what? They need to go away because it's not serving us and it's not healthy. Skinny's not healthy. So that's the long short story.
I love that. And I love, how you said, like, everybody chases after the skinny. I mean, like, like when you see, go on Instagram or social media, especially young girls see, oh, this is how you're supposed to be looking, but I want to talk about, when I started with nutrition and started, because I have my own story as well, but we're not going to go in there. When I started, I was also on lots of diets and I had to look like a model, because that's, you just think you have to look like that. And, if we go back years back, it was eating less and exercise more, like that was like the in thing, and everybody started doing that. But it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work like eating less, exercise more, go to the gym for 2 hours every day. It's just not. Can you tell us a little bit about why it doesn't work anymore? For our listeners out there, who's still going to the gym for 2 hours a day or more.
So here's what happens when we're younger and people go to the doctor and they still say, well, you need to stop eating all of this and you need to go work out more. I mean, we hear it all the time. We've been hearing it for years. In theory, it works. In theory is that you burn so many calories, and then if you have a negative amount compared to how much you burn, so you burn more than you take in, then theory is you should lose weight. The problem is it doesn't work that way. And what we always believed when we were younger is that, okay, if we stop eating, females, we don't just go back, we stop eating. We take everything to the extreme. And when we did that, we did not burn fat. Even though that's what everybody says, oh, I feel like I'm burning fat, I'm getting skinny. No, every time that we did that to ourselves, we might have burned a little bit of fat, but our bodies need amino acids. It's going to take energy from muscle. So every time that we decrease our muscle, we decrease our metabolism. And how many times, ladies, how many times have we done that? Think about when you first started dieting, and then how many times did you do something that was eat less, move more. How many classes were you going to the gym? How many miles did you think you had to run? How many boot camps did you do? Well, every single time that we did that, we're kind of borrowing from the future, because what happens is it catches up to us. And now it's 30. Now we're 35, 40, and can't figure out why these quick fixes, or I just stop eating and it doesn't work. Well, because you don't have any more muscle to lose. Your body's like, girlfriend, no, we are now in survival mode. And when you go into survival mode, you might actually gain weight because your body's saying, no, 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 no. I know what you're going to do here. You are not going to take care of me. I got to stay healthy. I got to stay alive. So metabolism slows down and you start seeing things in places that you don't want to see things in certain places. And you look in the mirror, you're like, where did this pooch come from? Why did I get hips? I'm not eating. And I get that with so many clients that they're so frustrated. They come in, they're like, but I'm not eating. Why? And I'm like, it's because you are not eating.
Yes.
And that it seems so counterintuitive because that's what we've been told. And to us, it makes sense. You don't eat, you should lose weight. But it does not work that way at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what you also mentioned is like, 6-week transformation, and you're like, oh, day 1, I'm doing so great. And by day 4, you're like, it's too hard. I cannot do this. So your body is just like so confused of what is going on now. And then you gain weight, you gain all that weight back, and you gain more because your body is just like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're not serving our bodies. We are not giving our bodies what it needs in order to lose body fat, in order to gain muscle, in order to change the shape of what you want. You have to eat and you have to build muscle. And I know that sounds so weird, especially for us who have been in the diet culture for so long. But like I tell my clients, and I had to tell myself the same thing, if what was working, I wouldn't be here. If it was working, I wouldn't have to worry. When I was in retail as a pharmacist, people would always come up to the counter and they'd bring the latest diet pill or something like Kim Kardashian was doing or Dr. Oz did or something. And they're like, does this work? And I'm like, if it worked, we'd all be a size 2, right? We'd all be a size 2. The diet industry is $3 billion. Billion. And it sets us up to fail because the more we fail, they say it's our fault. It's your fault. You didn't do it right. And then you're like, okay, well, here's my money again. Let's try this again. And then you're like, wait a minute, I can't keep taking these pills, or I can't keep taking these shakes, or I want a cookie, or what, insert whatever food that you are saying that you can't have. That's not good. There has to be a balance, that you have balance, but you also are getting results. And starving ourselves is not going to ever create that balance.
Yeah, and I think it's about mindset as well. It's not just about nutrition or eat healthy. It's about your whole body. It's about what's going on in your body, in your head. And, if you balance nutrition and mindset, you will have success.
It's funny that I won't say it's funny. It's absolutely true. I can tell that, like, I do when my clients come in, it starts with a 6-week to get, I always call it the new client experience. It's 6 weeks to get you started, to build the foundation. Then we move on after that. I can tell in the first week who's going to be amazing and have just knock out of the park, decrease your blood pressure, decrease your inflammation, feel amazing, increase muscle, decrease fat. I can tell who is going to be there at week 6. I can also tell who sets themselves up to fail, who talks themselves out of getting healthy. It's too hard. It takes too much time. oh, I'm just here to see what this is all about or see if I can do it, and having that one foot out the door. It's so easy to see who's going to be successful. And it's not just in a nutrition program. It's whether you take a new job, if you're doing something new, if you think you can't or you think you can, as Henry Ford said, you're right.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Yeah, that's so true. I also want to go back because you talked about menopause, and I'm going through menopause now as well. So
Ooh,
yes. Woo. And it's like you said, it hit me hard. I was like, oh no, what's going on with me? The hot flushes, the weight gain, the pouch. You're like, what is happening to me? I'm doing everything that I can, but things are not changing. You know what I mean? Um, so talk a little bit about what leads to midlife, menopausal weight, and, when you gain menopausal weight, and how can we prevent that, because there's so many pills out there. If you go on Google and you Google menopause, there's just all these pills like, you have to drink this. This is going to help with your hormones. This is going to help with hot flashes, and it's just, I think there's so many women that are going through menopause and they are just, they don't know what to do.
yeah, and it's confusing and it's almost analysis paralysis. You do Google and there's like, take this shake or take this supplement or do this or do that. And I always say if men went through menopause, we'd have so many more answers. We really would. Because I mean, seriously, if they had to deal with these hot flashes, it would be done. What you have to realize is that a lot of things that we did, we set ourselves up. So we set ourselves up for more hormonal issues. We set ourselves up because of the less muscle mass and more body fat. When we go through perimenopause and menopause, what happens is that things start to shift. Estrogen starts to decrease. You may be losing some testosterone, progesterone. So all these hormones that were I won't say balanced because they weren't balanced, they're optimized, start kind of going, I won't say chaotic, but they start changing. And when they start decreasing, we might notice hot flashes. We might notice brain fog. We might notice being tired. Another side effect sometimes is our cholesterol might go up, or we might get prediabetes. All these things estrogen protects. And then you're like, well, why am I getting a gut? Well, because estrogen likes to stay in the fat cells. And so we get a lot of changes in our body that we don't like that goes to our midsection. Well, that's just horrible, right? Like, and any lady can be like, okay, I just don't want to look at myself in the mirror. I hate what I see. And we don't want that. We want to be healthy. But what we do is we go back to the eat less, move more because we think that's what we need to do. We must be a failure. We must be eating too much when we absolutely need to do the opposite. What we need to start doing is focusing on the nutrition that our body is taking in, meaning macronutrients, our fat, our protein, our carbohydrates. And then we really need to be able to change our body shape is to start adding some weightlifting. And what we end up doing is going cray cray, I like to call it crazy, or balls to the wall, or leave it on the floor. We do all these HIIT workouts. We think we have to work out harder and harder and harder. Unfortunately, that does a lot of the things that we don't want to do. That holds on to body fat, that increases our midsection because we're also increasing cortisol at the same time. Cortisol is a great hormone in mild in small amounts. But when we stress our bodies out and have too much, it likes to put some fluff around the middle, which is what we don't want. So what can you do? Because everybody's like, well, okay, that's fine, but what can I do about this? One, you have to realize that a quick fix is never the answer. Meaning, I'm going to step on toes, injections, medications, shakes that promise lose it real quick. Because remember, we need to build muscle. As we age, Ladies, we have to have that muscle. You will not be Arnold. You will not be Sylvester Stallone. You will not be manly when you pick up those weights, but those muscles will help you age backwards. It will help you change the shape of your body. It will help you keep you strong. But the only way to get there is also with what you eat. You need protein. We need a lot more protein than we think we do. We do. We need vegetables. We need fruit. Yes, you need bananas. You need potatoes. You need rice. It's how you, like we call macro tracking, is how much you take in that is most important, because you need that nutrition. You need those micronutrients because our bodies are one big, huge chemical reaction. And what you feed it is eventually going to build up and radiate from the outside. And we forget that. We want this Amazon Prime. We want this, I'm going to order my body now. This shake, and this is what I love about Instagram. It's also what I hate about Instagram, because I get to see all the latest stuff. Take this, do this, do this. And we pick, and we're like, oh, but I'll take this, and I'll take this, and I'll take this. And then nothing works. And now you feel like a failure. And that stress, that feeling like a failure, also increases our cortisol. It makes us have more hot flashes. And the reverse is true, is when you start taking care of your body and you start losing that chronic inflammation, brain fog disappears, energy comes back. You're starting to see definition, and your jeans fit better. Now you can zip up your favorite pair of jeans or put on your favorite dress and be like, hey, girlfriend's looking really good. And it all comes back. It always comes down to your nutrition and adding that muscle.
Yes, everything you say is so true. I mean, some of my clients goes through menopause and they will be just like, I gained weight, so it's blaming on menopause. There's nothing that I can do. I tried everything out there. No, you didn't.
Mm-mm.
You didn't. And as we know, no diet fits all, and women are just so confused as it comes with menopause. So if there's a woman out there now listening and she's going through premenopause or menopause, what would you suggest to her to do? The first thing that she can do, if she's fed up, she's struggling, she tried everything and she's just so unhappy in herself and she doesn't know what to do. What will you suggest to do?
First of all, she didn't try everything. She hasn't tried me.
Yes, of course.
Right? Here's the thing. And with mindset and everything, it's an inside job. And I understand, because I wasn't feeling good either in my own skin. And I always hate that, because I show before and after pictures, or before and now pictures, or somebody will put that on Facebook and people will be like, but you've always been beautiful. Yes, they have. They never said they weren't beautiful. Everybody is beautiful no matter what size. It's how you feel. And understand it's how you feel. And that is what we need to work on, because you're pretty. You're gorgeous. You are a 1 in a million. But what we need to work on is the inside job and how you're feeling. So I always say the first thing that you have to do is look in your cupboard, look in your refrigerator, look in your car.
Mm-hmm.
How much ultra processed foods are you consuming right now? Meaning, is it coming in a package? Does it have a lot of ingredients? Is it a lot of chemicals? Is it dyes, added sugar? Because that is not going to help, and they're hormone disruptors.
Yes.
It's also going to wipe out your gut microbiome, which we absolutely need. So that would be the first thing, is that, okay, start decreasing. I'm not saying go cold turkey, because we know how that works. Every January 1st, everybody's like, get rid of this, get rid of this. I'm going to work out 3 hours. And by January 14th, people are like, peace out. I'm going back to my old ways, because it's too hard. So you can't do everything right now. let's start with one thing. Let's start with the ultra processed foods. Let's start to decrease that. And I'm going to tell you to eat real food, have protein, have a carb, have some fat at every single meal. So think PFC, protein, fat, and carbohydrates at every single meal. And slowly start taking less and less and less and less ultra processed food and more and more and more and more real food. You will see a difference. And just doing that little bit at first is going to make some big, big changes.
Yeah, I agree. And also, do not go to the gym for 2 hours, to because you think that's what you're supposed to be doing. No, that's not going to work. Just start small, one step at a time, and just, come see where you come out. It's also like, I also believe that if you take, if you have a client or somebody else there listening, and you eating like 2 cupcakes a day, don't just like you say, cold turkey, take it away and say, oh, okay, I'm not gonna eat that anymore, because you are gonna go back there. You're gonna go back there. It's just, it's a
We're all a 2-year-old when somebody tells us you can't. And if someone says you can't have a cookie, you can't have a cupcake, then our brain gets fixated on that.
Yes.
And when you start getting rid of the ultra processed foods, when you start decreasing your amount of sugar, you're not going to want that sugar all the time. And when you have it, you may be like, you know what, this just doesn't taste really good anymore. And that's fine. But to say that you can't have that, one, we never want to set ourselves up for a binge. And that is a lot of our binging tendencies, that someone says you can't, or we don't eat enough, and our body's like, I need energy. And the first thing it's going to go for is sugar. And that's the last thing we want. And my clients, we have a treat once a week, and we incorporate that, because you never want to deprive.
Yeah,
Never want to deprive.
I agree with that. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's like we talked about, it's not just the nutrition, exercise, it's the whole body, mindset, I think, is the most important thing. That is the first thing where you have to start, is your mindset. Get your mindset ready. And from there on, I feel it's like when you peel an onion,
Mm-hmm.
you start there and then you go through the whole onion.
Yeah. It has also, if you're looking, what should I be looking for? It has to be something, it's not a diet. And that's the difference. It has to be nutrition. It has to be something that you can live with for the rest of your life. Because if you're only doing it to get in your genes, if you're only doing it to get to a high school reunion or a wedding or something, that's not a healthy way of doing it. And it's not a lifestyle. It has to be something that you can keep with. I am almost 4 years in this lifestyle, and I haven't gone back and forth, like doing the cha-cha, one step forward, 2 steps back, that kind of thing. You have to be able to eat the cookie, go to weddings, go to tailgate parties, and here we are, we're in the holidays, and you don't want to not enjoy the holidays or feel guilty. You want to be able to find the balance. And that's what we need to work on, and understand that we can find that balance and still get results and still keep moving forward.
Yeah. And I also think that, we just all humans,
Yeah.
there is times where you would go back, but then you just get back on again. I don't want to use this phrase, but you fall off the wagon and then you just get back on. I don't really like using that phrase, but just do the best you can, because at the end of the day, we're all human, and it's a journey. It's not just like a quick fix, like, okay, I'm gonna do this and tomorrow I'm gonna be skinny, and I'm gonna be all perfect. It's a journey that you walk with yourself, and there is days that it's gonna be hard, and there's days where it's gonna be a little bit easier. But nobody said it's going to be easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Change is not easy. Change is, especially habits, and not only habits, beliefs.
Yes.
Because, oh, if I eat rice, I'll get fat. Oh, if I eat a banana, I'll get fat. Oh, if I eat carbs. Oh, if I eat more than this at a certain period of time, it'll go to my hips. All these kind of things that we've been fed throughout the years that we believe.
Yes.
And know that those little voices that take up space in your head, they don't go away overnight. And I still have them. We all have them. Like, they're probably talking to you right now. And you learn kind of how to navigate them and get along with them, and sometimes kick them to the curb because you know they're wrong. But know that a certain size doesn't equal happiness.
Yes.
And a lot of times that we think, well, if I get to this, I'll get that job, or my spouse will finally, love me, or I'll get the boyfriend, or we always have this, if we get to this certain size, the doors will open, Rainbow Kitty, or I would say Hello Kitty, rainbows, unicorns. And it's an inside job now. We have to be happy now. But what nutrition and fitness is going to do is help us feel better and get that self-confidence and be able to sleep better. Oh my gosh. I mean, just imagine when you get a good night's sleep, how great you feel. And when the brain fog is gone, when the joint pain is gone, all of that. And you just have that radiance and confidence of feeling good. It's a huge snowball effect. And yes, you can still have that cookie
Yeah.
and have that.
Yes, yeah, of course you can. It was so nice talking to you today. And I mean, I can talk hours, about this, because this is also like, passion of mine, just to help people out there, and they don't have to struggle, like people like you can help them. I will leave everything, Amy's social media, her website down, this podcast. So reach out to her if you are struggling, with your nutrition, premenopause, or anything, with your health. Reach out to her, and I'm sure she will help you and coach you, and help you through your journey. It was so nice having you here today. Thank you for being on our podcast.
Thank you for having me.